Hi everyone, in this video we're looking at inequalities, introduction to inequalities, and you would have met inequalities at some point before, inequality signs. So here we're just going to look at a recap of inequality signs. So the first sign we have here means less than, and it looks like a L, right? It's like a tilted L kind of there, right? And then the second one here where we have a line underneath it, this means less than or equal to. So this line here, that's the or equal to part that is added on to, right? So less than or equal to once we have that line there. And then the third one here, so this one means greater than. And it looks like a 7, like a tilted 7, right? And again, once you have the line underneath it, that's where the or equal to part comes from. So the first one we have less than, then we have less than or equal to, then we have greater than, and then we have greater than or equal to. Things you would have known from before, right? Now we're going to look at representing inequalities on a number line. So in this particular number line here, number 1, now it says we know x is greater than. How do you know x is greater than 4? Because the arrow is actually, for here, it starts at 4 and then it goes towards the positive side, right? So once it goes to the positive side, the right hand side, it's greater than, right? But how do we know it's greater than, not just greater than or equal to? You see how right here, we have an open circle. So the open circle means that it's just greater than. So it starts at 4, right? And we starting at 4 and we have the arrow going towards the right side or the positive side. So that's x is greater than 4. So an open or unshaded circle is used to represent simply greater than and not greater than or equal to. We're going to look at greater than or equal to in the next one here. So now let's go down a little bit. And number 2 here now. Here for this one it says x is greater than or equal to 3. Now it starts at 3. But you see here we have a solid circle, a shaded circle, and well, it's moving towards the positive side, the right side. So because we have a shaded circle or a solid circle, it is that greater than or equal to. So x is greater than or equal to 3. Why is it 3? Because we start at 3, right? So shaded or solid circle represents that or equal to part, right? When it's unshaded, like the first one, we not included that equal or equal to part, right? Let's look at number 3 for a little more clarity. So in this one here, in this number line, we start at 7, right? We have an open circle or unshaded circle, and the arrow is going towards the left side or towards remember the numbers getting smaller, right? So therefore, we say x is less than 7. And it's simply less than because we have an unshaded or open circle there, right? And that's basically the rule you need to remember. When it's a solid or shaded circle, that's why we put the or equal to part. If it's just an open or unshaded circle, we leave it at or equal to line, right? So let's look at this exercise here. State which inequalities are represented in each number line below. Let's look at number 1. So number 1, we started with 2. So x, is it less than or equal to? We are going towards the the numbers are getting smaller towards the left side, so it's an open or unshaded circle, so it's less than 2, right? So number 2, this is number 1 here. So number 2, x, and well, our number here starts at 2 again, right? So we need to fill in the middle now. Is it less than, greater than, or so on, right? So again, the arrow goes towards the left side. Here now we have a shaded or solid circle. So that means it's less than or equal to. And then part 3, again we start at 2, right? And we have a solid or shaded circle as well. And it's the arrow is going towards the positive or the right side. So this is x is greater than or equal to 2, right? So very simple. The questions are just a popular multiple choice, or sometimes they may ask you to show it in the paper too, just to draw a number line to represent an inequality or so on, right? It's very simple, but again, just review when what you have to do when it's an open circle and solid circle and so on, right? So here we have some number lines, but now we have two endpoints, meaning we have two circles, right? So if you see here, look at here, right? Our first one, this is a -4 as an endpoint, and here it's 3, right? And there are two what open circles, right? Meaning that we're not putting that line for or equal to. Now we want to represent this as the as an inequality, right? So it's from -4, and this is right, -4 less than x less than 3. If you notice, all the inequalities, or the two inequalities, are in the same direction, right? And this is a very popular type as well that comes in multiple choice. So here we have two open-ended unshaded circles, and the endpoints are -4, 3. So that's how we write the inequality, right? Just put them together like this, right? Whenever you put an inequality or two numbers together, usually the direction of the inequality less than or less than or equal to whether, depending on the circle, right? Now the values for x here. Now what will be the values for x? If this is what my x values are, from -4 to 3, but there's no line underneath here to say or equal to, meaning that x is not equal to the -4 and x is not equal to 3. So therefore the values will be those values between -4 and 3, which will be -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. And that's why I listed it there. We don't include the -4 and the 3 because we have open or unshaded circles. It means we're not included that. It doesn't mean equal to as well, right? Let's look at another one. So here we have, let's look at our two endpoints here. One endpoint here is -4, and one endpoint here is a -1. So we have -4, we have -1. And let's put the x in the middle. Now we have an open circle, right? So that will be just that. And then we have a shaded or solid circle here. So we must include the equal to part there. Understand? Again, whenever you have the two endpoints, the direction of the inequality will always be like this, right? Like these here. Right? And now if we have to list the values of x, we are not including -4 because here there's no equal line there, right? So then it will be -3, -2, and -1 because we have that shaded circle there which represents the equal to part, right? So these here are my values for x, right? And this is just in case a question they ask you what are the values, right? And then the third one here, inequality here, so our endpoints are 0 and 3. We have a solid or shaded circle and an open circle. The solid or shaded circle is by the 0, so we must include that equal to line, right? And then by the 3, we have an open circle, so we're not included that equal line. And that's our answer then. If we have to put the values for x, so we include the 0 and 1, 2. We're not including the 3 because it's not equal to 3, right? And that's how we get 0, 1, and 2. And let's look at one more. So here our endpoints are -4 and 5. Both solid circles, both shaded circles. So -4 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 5. So here we include the equal line. And the values for x here, we must include all the numbers from -4 to 5. -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we have that shaded solid circle there, right? So now I just have a multiple choice question here. It's not to represent anything on a number line, but is basically listing the values for x. So here we have 6 less than or equal to x less than 10. You see how we have our equal to line here? There's no equal to line here, meaning we are including the 6 and then 7, 8, 9, and we stop in there because there's no equal line for the 10, so we're not including the 10. So our answer is A. And another similar question, multiple choice CXC question here. So we have -1 less than or equal to x less than 3. We have our equal line here. There's no equal line here. So that means we include the -1, and then we go into 0, then 1. 2, we are not including the 3 because there's no equal line here. So this is my set of values here, which would be option C. So very simple. This is just part 1 to inequalities. Our next video, we'll look at solving inequalities. So please replay and just to keep on refreshing your memory, right? And I'll see you all in my next video.